A Ceanara, a Gwine Ushla, a Corja Gael, national comrades, friends and supporters of the National Party. This is our first National Party meeting held in a hotel since the Ardèche 2 years ago in 2019. So it's almost déjà vu. I feel like I'm going back to the early days of the National Party, just after we were launched back in 2016, when we were trying to find our ground, as it were. We truly live in strange times. Since March of last year, with the imposition of the first coronavirus lockdown, the Western world has been subjected to and submerged in the chaos that has been the result of a globalist totalitarian tyranny, under the pretext of manufactured public hysteria over the spread of a virus that originated in China. And this globalist totalitarianism, never before imagined, has been enthusiastically embraced by the globalist puppet regime that runs this failed, unfree state, where virtually the entire population was confined to house arrest and mandatory mask wearing, when the people who are subjects of the regime were permitted by the state to do essential shopping in order to live and exist. And the price of regaining personal freedom is for the subjects of the regime to gamble with their health and their lives by taking a highly dubious coronavirus vaccine that has provided a planned financial windfall for parasitic multinational pharmaceutical companies. Welcome to the Soviet Ireland of the 2020s and the era of COVID communism. As we meet here today, it is approximately 5 weeks since the Dublin Bay South by-election. I want to take this opportunity to salute the team of National Party activists who I had the privilege of canvassing with on that campaign. National Party activists are second to none when it comes to their indomitable determination in pursuit of nationalist aims and ideals, and in pursuit of true freedom. Our canvassing teams that campaigned over 3 weeks did the party and the country proud. And of course, I salute our exceptional, superb candidate in that election, namely our Ceanara, our leader, Justin Barrett, for flying the flag and contesting that election, notwithstanding that the odds were stacked high against the National Party of even achieving a modest vote. That was our aim in that election. But like every one of you here, to say that I was very disappointed with the outcome of that election is a gross understatement. There are a few theories that raise serious questions about the accuracy of the counting of votes for that election count that was circumscribed by COVID regulations. But regardless of whether any such theories on the Dublin Bay South election count are baseless or carry some validity and therefore cause for concern, one thing is certain, and that is that Dolores Cahill's candidacy split the anti-lockdown vote. And as she declared her intention to run as a candidate in that election at an anti-lockdown protest, crucially after Justin's election candidacy was a reality and in full swing, and the National Party by-election campaign was on the ground, she therefore knowingly and intentionally set out to split the anti-lockdown vote. Dolores Cahill was never on our side, and we need to nail the fallacy that there are those who are broadly on our side and then there are our enemies. However, the stark reality for us nationalists is that we must engage in the political struggle for our country's freedom while under the heel of that globalist totalitarian regime. That means that we contest elections and engage in political campaigning that have a pre-arranged outcome under a rigged system. The only difference between the rigged system that we are subject to and the rigged totalitarian system that existed behind the Iron Curtain during the Soviet era is that while in the former Soviet bloc there was a one-party system, under the globalist rigged system that is the current Free State regime, while providing for a so-called multi-party democracy, that democratic system of government is rigged because of the servile subordination of that system to the dominance of the mono ideology permitted, and that is globalism. It is very difficult, therefore, for the National Party to get its message across to the vast majority of the Irish people because of the rigged system and because of the policy of blanket censorship operated against the National Party and rigorously implemented by a corporate-controlled liberal mainstream media that has established a virtual monopoly on the communication of disinformation and false propaganda to the public in this state. It is difficult to underestimate the damage that liberal media conditioning to the public has wrought. And the result of the Dublin-based South by-election is a standout example of such liberal media conditioning, especially as the Dublin-based South is geographically in the heartland of Dublin, of liberal Dublin 4. The victor of the Dublin-based South by-election was the long-time Socialist Labour Party candidate and long-term Liberal standard-bearer Ivana Bacek, who topped the poll, which is more evidence of a rigged system, as her election was the product of an unashamed media wholeheartedly campaigning in her favour. Since then, though, however, Deputy Bacek's star has fallen, and only a few weeks after her election, because of her attendance at the very ironic Mariongate party for her fellow Liberal campaigner and former regime minister Zappone. The media silence on Bacek's involvement in the Mariongate scandal was deafening. Bacek's victory was celebrated in the media as a recognition for her lifelong campaigning on so-called equality issues that obviously and very clearly don't include any interference with the unearned, illicit economic privilege of her family, her friends, and her fellow hypocritical champagne socialists. My point in raising these striking anomalies that illustrate just how rigged the political system in the state is to remind ourselves that the National Party will not and cannot allow any particular manipulated electoral outcome to derail our duty and our mission to grow our movement in order to reach as many of our people and our nation as possible with the message of Irish nationalism and the message of real freedom. Elections will come and go, but our purpose remains constant. And that constant purpose of the National Party, and that's something that we have to keep constantly and forever before us, is to engage in political action with a spirit of untiring perseverance, that same untiring perseverance that I seen manifested on the election campaign in Dublin Bay South by many of my comrades here that I see today. And also that with a spirit of that of Celtic warriors who preceded us, who before carried iron shields, But our iron shields are our 9 unchanging principles, and our love of our country, our ideology, our belief in the freedom of the Irish nation. So as we maintain our course and continue forward until the final victory is secured, I encourage you all to keep the faith. God save Ireland. Arasharai.